Hello, welcome to the Kratom Sobriety Podcast. This is Lily, and I'm here with Nolan today. And our interview is going to be Jacob with Seth. And so before we get into that interview, Nolan and I are going to talk about some different health tips. And Nolan, I'll let you start off.
All right. Yeah. Episode 155 is going to be a good one. But we were talking a little bit, Lily and I, and we decided we wanted to cover some of the lifestyle changes that we can make after we decide to quit that will help us improve our lives and maybe even help us mitigate some of the withdrawal symptoms that we may experience. So I actually had a couple questions for Lily. So, Lily just so happens to be a yoga teacher. And I know that one of the things that I tried whilst going through withdrawals is I tried yoga to alleviate some of the restless legs and just to try and put my body and mind in a better place. Lily, what would you say to people that are looking to get into yoga either now, after Kratom, as a lifestyle enhancement, or otherwise?
Yeah, I definitely teach and practice a lot of different styles of yoga. And when you're first looking into yoga, if you've never done it before, it can be a little overwhelming. Like you're looking for apples in the supermarket for the first time, and there's 10 different varieties. And you're like, I don't know, I just want an apple. So with yoga, a good way to start out is maybe a slower class, a more gentle class. I teach a class that's literally called gentle yoga, and you mostly stay seated or on the ground. You're not going up and down or standing a lot. With kratom and during the withdrawal phase and just when you're coming off of things, it's really helpful to slow down a lot and to slow down a lot more than perhaps you would like to. That was one of my biggest challenges coming off of kratom was slowing down and resting and just taking time to slow down, which is really hard when your mind is racing and you have 1,000 things you're thinking about and you're stressed out, but it does help. There's a couple things that I would recommend, especially in the evening to help wind down from the day. One of them is called legs up the wall, where you, yep,
Uh-huh.
where you lie on your back and you put your feet up the wall. You get your butt pretty close to the wall and you just lie down. So your back is on the ground, your feet are above your hips, and you can have your arms out to the sides with the palms up. And I actually like to take like a little stretchy band, like one of those exercise stretch bands, or even like a loose headband, and put it around my feet. So the feet stay up together and they don't separate and flop down. And that way you can really relax your muscles and rest. And also just doing some supine twists, which is a fancy way of saying twisting on your back. And just moving one leg over and looking the other way, reaching your opposite arm out, and then switching sides. Just slowly moving. Child's pose is a great place to be when you're tired and
I
slow. And
wish I had my yoga mat out right now. I could be using this as a
oh,
free guided yoga retreat.
dang. Maybe we'll do that next time. Maybe I could
Okay.
do like a 5 minute, maybe we
Yeah,
could do like a little
recorded.
5 minute yoga intro sequence. That would be fun.
That would be fun, and
Um,
I would sit here and listen. I wouldn't be
yeah.
giving nothing teachable. But
Yeah.
no, those are all really good. Please keep going because this would have all been very helpful to know. Quitting, the need to slow down was paramount. It was so important. I know that one of the big issues that I had is that your mind is racing at a million miles per hour. Everything feels rather disjointed. It's tough to get a kind of a handle on your train of thought as well as on how your body is feeling. Few things kind of feel in your control. So, as many tips
Mhm.
you can have at hand, whether those come through yoga or otherwise, definitely take advantage of them.
Absolutely. I know, yeah, the mind definitely races when you're going through those things. And I mean, most people's minds race all the
Yes.
time anyway. So it's just
Yes, they
part of
do.
life these days. You have a million things to think of. One of the first things I say when I start each class is, no matter what kind of day that you've just had so far, just put that to the side. We'll come back to that in a little bit. But for now, start to tune into the room that you're in. And I go through the 5 senses, and you can do this anytime. You can do this in your car, waiting for the bus, lying down, sitting down, whatever. Go into the 5 senses and just you can say them out loud or think them in your head. Like, what do I see? Is it the walls around me? Is it the grass in front of me? What do I hear? Do I hear birds? Do I hear my air conditioner? Do I hear someone mumbling in the background? Whatever it is. Do I hear myself rustling as I move around? Do you smell anything in the room? Can you taste anything? Maybe you just had a drink of something and you taste that. What do you hear? What do you see? What do you smell? And then also, what do you touch? Are you touching the ground? Do you feel the clothing on your body or maybe the breeze? And just doing that, I mean, even just saying it out loud, I feel a little more grounded because it takes you out of all of the millions of thoughts and it brings you into the exact moment. And you can repeat that as many times as you need. I used to do that on walks, when I was going through things. And I would just go through the senses and I would actually name off items as like a checklist because checklists really helped me when I was going through it. And I would say, okay, what do I see? I see a bird. I see a tree. I see the grass. I see this. I see that. And then keep going with the other senses. And then eventually your brain stops trying to kick in with its other feelings, at least for a minute. Even if it's a minute of relief, it's something.
It is. It's so something. It's
Hmm.
like a gum for your brain to chew on, and it kind of helps
Yes.
quiet it down. I know, you might be saying, Nolan, what do you mean intentional walking? I already walk with intention. I'm trying to get somewhere, or I'm trying to go up these stairs, or to go to the
Hmm.
bathroom on the second story of my house. And I would say that if you're quitting and you're on a walk because you need to go outside, walking
Hmm.
is one thing, but walking intentionally is another thing. So just feeling the feet on the ground, feeling your legs move, just focus on the physical action of moving as much as possible because
Yeah.
anything you can give your head and your body to latch onto will help distract you from how truly uncomfortable quitting can prove to be.
Exactly. And being aware of your body is really hard for a lot of folks to do. And because kratom naturally is numbing and desensitizing, you're often way less in tune with your body and less aware of how you actually feel. And so, something that is a yoga practice, but also just helpful to get you back into your body is we've heard of tapping, probably EFT, emotional what is it? Emotional frequency tapping. There's that, but
Something.
then there's also just tapping the body literally, and I'm standing up right now, and I'm just literally I have one hand on my opposite arm, I got my right hand on my left hand on my right arm, and I'm just alternating taps. I know in therapy sometimes they call it the butterfly tap. So if you do it really lightly and it alternates, it's a fancy way of going from the right hemisphere to the left hemisphere of the brain and going back and forth, back and forth. But it's also just like distracting you in a nice, comforting way. And then you can also, I think, in Chinese medicine and in qigong they do this where you literally kind of like lovingly lightly like slap yourself with your hands from like the tops of your legs all the way up to the belly and you kind of like drum on yourself and it wakes you up. It's like hello, 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 and it gets you aware of those sensations again, and it's kind of a nice like vibrational buzzy feeling after you do it. It's kind of like you can feel it and feeling is good. So,
Yes, yes, it
that would be
is.
another idea.
I am stealing all of
Mm,
these tricks, even though I'm well past the withdrawals. I'm stealing all of these. Thank you so much, Lily, for all those
yeah.
really neat tips. And I did notice that as I was listening to you talk about tapping, I was tapping my arms and I completely lost the plot of what you were saying because it really did distract me. So I want to let you know that it works. Anyway, thank you
Nice.
everybody for joining us on the Kratom Sobriety Podcast. This will be episode 155 with Seth being interviewed by Jacob. But please stay strong. And if you need anything from us, I'm sure we have plenty of info in our back catalog of episodes you can go through and look for. Anyway, Lily, anything you want to close out with?
Just, keep with it, keep listening. You never know when someone's story is gonna be similar to your own, and keep listening for those moments of connection. It really helps us all heal and, know that you're not alone in this struggle. Yeah.
Absolutely. Anyway, thank you, and talk to you later, Lily. Bye bye.
Alright. Bye-bye.
Welcome to This is Jacob, and this morning I have the pleasure of talking to Seth. Seth, how are you doing this morning, man?
I'm great. I'm doing really well. Very happy to be able to talk with you today.
Yeah, I'm happy to be able to talk with you as well and to get to know you a little bit here during this interview. So, how would you like to introduce yourself to the audience? Things like age, profession, location, family, anything you want to share.
Okay, so my name's Seth. I'm from West Virginia. I'm kind of a small town guy with a city heart. I'm constantly there's not a lot of music venues around here, so I drive like 2 to 4 hours to either Columbus or Pittsburgh for music. So I love live music. I live alone. I have just a supportive, just amazing family. I have just fantastic friends that I've been friends with for over a decade now, and I'm just really blessed. I'm pretty happy right now. So,
Oh, good. That's great. Yeah, having a supportive family is always nice when you're
oh
trying to recover, and really any aspect of life. Having
yeah,
a community and a family can be super helpful. Cool. I actually grew up outside of Pittsburgh, so I have a general idea of probably where you live.
oh
So that's kind
yeah,
of interesting too.
yeah.
Cool. Outside of music and live events, any other hobbies you have?
So I was a wrestler for quite some time through middle school and high school. That was a passion of mine. I've actually been dabbling in like music production, and it's so complex, but I enjoy it. And like my goal is to just make some music and have my friends dance. That's like, the main goal. So I've been doing that. I love camping, going outside, swimming, fishing. I'm a people person. I don't think I have any enemies.
That's
Um,
good.
yeah.
Cool. All right. Cool. Yeah, I love music and music production as well. Ableton. All right. Well, as much as I'd probably love to talk to you about that, let's do what the audience is here to listen to and what we came to talk about. So, what is your abstinence date from Kratom and Kratom products?
So April 6th, I had actually went to what was supposed to be a 28. I want to say to anybody out there who is afraid to go to a treatment program, I was terrified. I just couldn't handle anymore. I had tried and tried, even with the support system that I had, and I went for 12 days, and I got a safe discharge, which took a lot of work, and it was honestly the most spiritual experience I've ever had. I had to face like so many emotions, and it was intimidating because I was so this facility has only been there for 2 years, and I was the third patient that they had for kratom. So a lot of people had questions and whatnot. It just was such a just insane, amazing experience, but also just scary at the same time. But anyways, I got big headed. I thought I had cried and done all of these things, and just felt really confident. And I had never experienced Paul's before, that I'm aware of. And I got a safe discharge, and it was like 5 days after I got out, I just full blown withdrawals basically. And I started dabbling into it again and not letting my loved ones know. And then that is when I started the box zone for it was a little under 2 weeks, and I was terrified to go this route. I had always avoided Suboxone, but at this time I was just I just wanted help, and anything was better than, dealing with withdrawal and the ups and downs of kratom. And so I received the Sublocade injection, and I actually had listened to a podcast on here. I can't remember the woman's name, but she kind of really helped me, and both of you did. And it's like what she said. It was for me like a get out of jail free card. It was like I, the next day. I don't know how to explain it. It's nuts. I just felt normal. I just getting a sense of joy in the smallest things and giving people compliments. I'm a very friendly person, and I noticed while on kratom, I didn't love myself, so I wasn't good at spreading love and just talking to strangers like I always did. And I'm able to do that now. I did just go see my doctor yesterday, and buprenorphine is still in my system. But as of right now, I really, really believe that I know that I think it's going to be just such a smooth ordeal. And yeah, I'm hoping it's pretty painless. It's hard to explain. I don't feel medicated. I just feel normal, and at this point, I felt so much better and relieved. If I had to, I would stick to this, the Sublocade. But I didn't get another injection. My doctor actually said that she didn't want to give me anything that she felt like I didn't need. Um,
Okay.
I, yeah. So I should have asked my doctor yesterday exactly when I received the Sublocade injection, and I didn't. Um,
That's
but
okay.
but it's been a lifesaver for me. It really has been.
Okay. I want to get into all that with you here in a sec, but just to kind of build the timeline maybe a little bit. So your last kratom usage was in early April, so you've got almost 3 months clean. So that's awesome.
Yeah.
Congrats on that. When did you? Let's get into like your backstory, and then I'm real excited to talk to you about your MAT and then your Sublocade journey because I think that'll be really helpful for guests. We get a lot of inquiries about that. So, w- before we get into the kratom, did you have any history of like substance use or substance issues? I would say addiction or any other in your past.
I grew up in a small town when the pain pill epidemic happened, and I did dabble in those. And so I was actually me and a friend were gifted some from a girl, and it was a large amount of Percocets. And we were just young and didn't know anything about addiction or anything. And we did do those just for a few months. It was a large amount for free. And I also, no, I don't need to get into that, but I did experience a little bit of withdrawal, but I actually moved to a different city and just never looked back. I never craved them, never looked for them.
Okay.
I didn't really get into any hard opiates, mostly just caffeine. And unfortunately, I vape. I used to smoke cigarettes and transition to the vape. And that's my next goal is to quit it. But
Yeah.
kratom only beast as far as an addiction goes.
Okay. Yeah, it's just helpful to kind of establish those.
Yeah.
When did you first kind of try drew you to
So,
want to try it?
so I was it was 2016, and I was friends with a girl that I knew through music, and she had went to a show that was promoting non-alcoholic beverages, and she tried it and just told me like just how wonderful it was and what it did for her, and that it was what we've all heard, non-addictive, non-habit forming, organic. And so just shortly after that, a friend of mine had some and told me about it and was like, it just gives you energy. It takes away anxiety. It's just amazing. It's a miracle plant. And I tried it there, and I drank it, and it was disgusting at the time. I didn't really like to drink Kratom, and I didn't feel anything. And I went home, and I pulled up into my driveway, and I was listening to dubstep at the time, and it hit me, and I sat in my car and danced for like probably 40 minutes and was just like, wow, this is a miracle. And I went to a smoke shop the next day, and it got me pretty hard instantly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's a probably a pretty common experience. I had a the first time I took kratom, I didn't really do much because I didn't take enough. But then the second time, I had a very similar experience. And I've never actually tried like a brewed tea from anywhere. But yeah, anytime I've tried to mix it and drink it, it's always been disgusting. So
When I mixed a tea, it was just, oh, just looked
it
like
basically tastes like dirt.
yeah.
Drinking dirt. All right, cool. So that was good to establish. How did you go from your first experience, like really obviously just kind of being hook, line, and sinker right from there to a full blown addiction? And when did you first kind of say, because 2016?
So I actually, when I started using Kratom, I got a job in the oil field, and the first
Okay.
I worked 34 days, 14-hour shifts, my first 34 days there, and
Damn.
I uh I started taking it. I was ordering it online, and I mean it was pretty sad. Like my truck was green inside because I was doing the toss and wash. I was just taking spoonfuls of it.
Yeah.
I had already felt withdrawal symptoms at that point, and I was just kind of ignoring them. And so it got bad, and I was just scared to death. I was looking for help. I actually went to the same in 2016 or 17, asking for help, and they would not take me. They had never heard of kratom.
Oh wow. Yeah, that's a long time ago.
The woman that I actually talked to said, if you were to have oxycodone in your system, or even just take a shot of liquor before you come in. And at that time, I was just so upset because I needed help for kratom. That would
Yeah, they're like, go try other drugs, and then
yeah.
we'll take care of you.
Yeah. So for the longest time, it was just terrifying. I felt alone. I don't have any friends that use it. I know one person I've met in my life that does kratom, but
Yeah.
I so I got really bad on it while I was working in the oil field, and I ended up leaving that job, and I met somebody, and I fell in love, and I was honest with him, and I ended up. It was. I don't want to say for certain, but I'm pretty positive it was 3 years, 6 months, and 2 days. I
Okay.
I actually quit kratom. I was
Oh wow. Okay.
yeah, I was so happy. I I was just very happy, and then
Did you have, like, withdrawals and stuff through that quit? What was that like?
oh, yeah. Yeah, I
Yeah,
mean
all the typical stuff.
yeah, the everything, the restless
Okay.
for me, it was like the sweet spot was like 9 to 12 days, and my first
Yeah.
is I would hit that, like, pink cloud phase, which was so emotional and almost harder in its own way, but after, so many relapses and dealing with it, the pink cloud phase kind of just went away. But I have a nickname, Gabby, so I talk a lot. So if you need me to stop
No,
talking,
it's okay. I think I find your story very interesting, so that's why I'm just letting you talk, so I'll interject, don't worry.
okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, I made it a little over 3.5 years, and what made me cave was during this relationship, I was Instacarting and door dashing a lot because prior to that, I was lost in a different way, and I was, struggling with kratom. So I just kind of I wanted to just enjoy my life, and at the time that those jobs were working for me, and just kind of focus on myself and my partner and my loved ones, and it ended in just heartache and just I thought that I had been depressed until, heartache. And man, it was hard. I remember thinking, like, I thought withdrawal was one of the most horrific things a human could go through, and heartache was it for me. So I made it about 4 months after the breakup, and I went
Okay.
to job, and I was so nervous and just depressed, and I caved. And
When about, like, in what year around, just for the timeline's sake, was this?
when this happened,
Yeah.
so let me think here. I got sober. I don't remember the exact actually, I don't remember the exact date, but it
It's
was
okay.
no
Okay. So
and
November of 2020, then you give 3 years or so it's probably 2024 by
yeah,
now, early
it
2024. Okay. All right, so you're it's early 2024, and you decide, you hold out as long as you could through all the heartache. And I hear you. I went through a pretty tumultuous breakup in my late 20s. It was pretty devastating. So yeah, the heartache really ramp up addictive tendencies and usage for people that go to substances when they're trying to treat pain. All right, so you hold out for as long as you can, and you cave. What happened next?
So, oh, man, oh, it was so much worse than the first time. I was so angry and miserable that I'm so grateful for my friends. And I had another friend who's a guy who just was so supportive, and he's actually a doctor and was just very special to me. And while I was at in rehab, my friends were messaging me and through Snapchat, which I didn't see until I got out, but just calling and checking on me. And it's sad because, I was so angry and miserable. I didn't want to bring other people down. So
Yeah,
I wanted them to leave me alone. I was just that miserable, and
yeah.
it was different this time around. One thing that really scared me was just the second time around was doing like real research and finding out like just the effects that it has on your body. One of the hardest things for me was like just forgetting things. Like I feel like most of the time that I was on Kratom is just kind of a blur.
Same for me. I was talking to my wife about this actually last night because she was like, "Do you remember when we watched this thing?" And it was like 4 or 5 years ago. And I was like, "No, I don't remember like
Yeah.
any of it." But the thing is, like, I know I watched it. Like, I remember like we watched it, if that makes any sense, but I don't remember the plot, the act. Like, I couldn't tell you anything about this like 8-part miniseries.
One thing that scared me, and a lot of the information on Kratom isn't like stamped. A lot of the information I have is just from Reddit and podcasts, just other people's
Yeah,
experiences. But so I noticed that I would get my words mixed up, and like dyslexia, and
yeah, yeah.
and I've seen like people share similar experiences, and I couldn't remember just a 4-digit number, and that was one of the things that really scared me and made me want to quit even more, as far as like symptoms I was experiencing.
Okay. Well, let's just jump ahead then. So, just for timeline's sake, so you had your initial bout of use, you have your relationship, you make it the 4 months into early 2024, you get to October, you go to rehab,
Yeah.
you get out, you relapse again, and then that brings you to April. What happened in April that made you decide to get clean, and how did you start your journey with medicated assisted treatment?
So it for me, it was just having to tell my loved ones that I had failed again. I mean, after
Okay.
all of that, I it was just and listening to podcasts, I completely just was I ended up going and talking to a doctor who she is amazing. I'm so lucky to have her. She didn't know a lot about kratom, but she actually listens to your podcast and has
Oh,
been
wow. That's cool.
yeah, been studying it, and she really cares and is interested, and we both talked, and I made the move. I did the 300 milligram. If people are wondering, because I have tattoos, but I hate needles, I was really worried about like how painful it would be. And I'll tell people it hurts, but it's so worth it. And if
Did you start sorry to interrupt, did you start right on the shot, or did you have to take the strips for a
so
couple weeks? How did that work?
I took the strips for a couple weeks.
Okay.
My doctor was just telling me to take a fourth of a script or a
Okay.
fourth of a film. And then the insurance companies wanted me to take the full 8 milligrams. And in the end, I did start.
Weird.
I know. I did start doing that in the end, and the Suboxone was like making me grind my teeth.
Interesting. Hmm.
Yeah, and I felt like overstimulated on it. But like as soon as I got the injection, it's hard to explain. I felt as more normal than I had in a long time. And as the months have went by, like I said, I did not get a second injection. I still feel the same. I don't feel any like uh,
Yeah.
symptoms, sweating, nothing. It's like I never got it is how it feels right now.
Okay, yeah, so that yeah, and you like you said, you're almost 3 months out, you just saw your doctor, they did test you, and you, have some still in your system because it takes so long to release, but yeah, like you said, like, that's the beauty of it, it allows for that, like, super slow natural taper because of the way the injection works, as I understand it, with it builds this it's in your stomach, right? It's
Yeah.
like a big, I don't know, ball of, medicine, for lack of a better term?
Sorry to interrupt you. Um,
Please.
so I was worried about getting this big knot,
Yeah,
and mine actually kind of laid flat. And
really? Interesting.
and I even told the doc, I talked to my doctor about that, and she said it's nothing to be concerned about. I could definitely feel it. It feels hard, almost like just really hard. And now I could barely feel it. You could still feel a little bit in there, but I've definitely, noticed where it's my body.
Dissipated.
And if you want to later down the road, I'm totally willing to touch base and let you, because people say, the 5 month mark and stuff, people might feel.
Yeah,
But at this point, if it happens, there's no looking back. Like I said earlier, especially just learning about how bad it is for your body. My skin was like gray, these people that use fentanyl were telling me like, wow, you look rough.
yeah, yeah, because like you said, yeah, I look at some pictures of myself from towards the end of my usage, and I'm like, "Wow, I looked terrible, like,
Yeah.
older than I am," and just, wow, this really takes a toll on your body, and it doesn't seem like that is talked about enough, I don't think.
Yeah. That's something if I could warn people, I mean, it'll really make you look rough, if it helps at all, like new users, just, yeah. And I got a ton of blood work done when I got out, and I'm healthy. So I'm very grateful for that.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the other thing, like, I know there's a lot of people that are very much against medicated assisted treatment, but, like, if you get medicated assisted treatment, you're gonna get healthy again. You're not gonna have
Yeah.
your dark circles under your eyes, and you're not gonna be drinking gallons of dirt every day to stay out of withdrawal. Yeah, you do have to take something, and yes, you particularly if you get on Suboxone, or even if you would decide to stay on the shot, which people do, and that's perfectly fine because not everybody has the same history of you and has the same opinions on treatment as someone that may be listening to this, whether whatever your kind of what's the say perspective is. I was looking for the word there. Sorry.
Yeah. I got you.
Cool. So, all right. So, did you? So you get the shot after being on the strips for a few weeks, and like you said, you kind of immediately felt normal. How did you go, like, progress back to, like, you look healthy, and obviously the listeners won't see this, but you like, all the gray's gone, you look, like, perfectly healthy, happy. How did that progression go? Was it quick like that? You, like, were like
I mean, by the time I'll just say at Harmony Ridge, I'm sure that's fine. It's a great place. It's in
yeah, yeah,
Bartow,
it's fine.
West Virginia. But I mean, within a week, as soon as I got out, I gained weight. My dark circles were gone. I had more color in my skin, and everybody's just, you look so great. I already struggle with being slim, and I lost a lot of weight on Kratom. So when I went in, I weighed 143, and within 2 weeks, I was at 158 because that's all I did in there was eat. But I mean, it's crazy just the compliments that I get. People say how much better I look, and I feel so much better. I wake up when you're on Kratom, or when I Kratom, I would wake up first thing, just jumping out of bed, feeling rough, hating life until I got that first dose. And now I can wake up and lay there, for 10 minutes and take in the day and just be grateful for a cup of coffee. When I was sober for 3.5 years, the last time, when I relapsed, I would try to remind myself just how less anxious, how good I felt off of Kratom, how much better I looked. And you almost forget how that felt once you're, using Kratom for so long. And it's just I knew who I was before Kratom addiction, and I like forgot. And now I'm just off of it, and I feel just so happy. just so healthy and just ready to take on the.
That's great. I'm glad to. All right, maybe a few other questions, and then we can kind of round this out. So, outside of medicated assisted treatment, what else do you do for recovery? Do you do any sort of meetings or
Yeah.
therapy or anything like that?
Okay. So yeah, I am currently seeing a therapist. I actually just had my second appointment with her. I did go to meetings for a few months, and I loved them. Um, I stopped going to meetings just because like I said, I have such a good support system. I've been okay with just having my family and my friends, but I did go to meetings. I just I try to work out when I can and stay positive and podcast, reading people's stories on Reddit. Just and right now my goal with this and like I said earlier, I'm so nervous. I still am. I'm kind of a shy person, but I really just want to help people. And I see a lot of people on Reddit that are just terrified looking for help, and they are, asking, has anybody went to a treatment center? Has anybody done a MAT? And I just want to let people know, just do not fear it. If it's something that you think may work for you, absolutely go for it. I mean, it changed my life going to going to Harmony Ridge, and then just trying to stay busy and just put positivity out as much as I can.
Yeah, that's really really good advice. And I'll echo what you said. For me, I you said something very early in our interview about being really afraid of doing the treatment and going to the doctor, and I had similar thoughts when I did it as well. It was like I had all these previous addictions, opiates, alcohol, and like I was, I never had to get treatment or medication for that, and it's kratom that is going to do this to me, this gas station shit. And I was like, this is unbelievable. So it can be really terrifying, but it will, if you want it and you embrace it, it definitely can change your life. Because otherwise, you're just going to continue to potentially be stuck. Because if you haven't been able to do it on your own, what makes you think you're going to be able? And I don't want to minimize this. Sometimes it's just a change in mindset or finding the right program. But for a lot of people, if you're stuck, you have to do something else to get unstuck.
For me, it was just I didn't know what else to do. It was kind of a last resort, and I
Same.
was sooner.
Yeah, I feel the same way. All right. What would your advice be to someone if you could share maybe one thing? What would you tell someone who's listening to this and is looking to get off kratom?
Just to not be afraid. Don't feel alone. The first couple of years, I felt alone. The only way that I was able to see somebody's story, I didn't know about Reddit, so I was watching YouTube videos of just people literally recording themselves withdrawing, and that was like what helped me at the time. Just that's how I got my advice, or just seeing other people deal with the same thing helped. But just don't be afraid to reach out for help. You're like I said, you're not alone. It's horrific, it's terrifying, and the great thing about kratom addiction, I know it has been for some people, but it doesn't have to be fatal. You can get off of it. You can live a happy life, and just you know, it just
Yeah.
feels better on the other end. And don't feel bad. It could happen to anybody. Addiction can grab anybody.
Yeah, that's really good advice. I think particularly with kratom too is it's such a for I've hardly talked to anybody in all the interviews I've done where they've been like, "Yeah, and I've been hanging out with a community of people that are using kratom." It's very rare. There's a couple interviews where in certain areas maybe there's a kava, a kratom bar, and that's where people socialize and use kratom. But outside of that, it's mostly like a secret, something you're doing on your own, so it can feel very, very isolating. But I guarantee you now, particularly in the last couple years, it's really gotten to the point where most treatment places are gonna know about it. Doctors are getting more educated. There's still a lot more education that needs to happen, but there are resources and people out there now that can
Right.
certainly help you.
It's gotten a lot better. People are starting to become more aware. thankfully,
Yeah, definitely. All right. Well, let's go maybe funner question. I always like to ask people if you had, the unlimited funds and you could travel anywhere in the world, where would you like to go?
So I always wanted to go to Thailand. Seems absolutely beautiful. I've never traveled across the country. I was born in Frankfurt, Germany because my dad was in the area, but I would love to travel to a different country. But Thailand, I always really liked Thailand, and I've just heard great things about people's experiences there.
Yeah, I've heard really good things too. I've never been myself either. What was the show I just watched about Thailand, or that was based in Thailand? The White Lotus, I think.
Okay, I need to watch that show. I've heard my friends are saying it's pretty great.
It's pretty good. Yeah, there's each season is a little different, and there's some continuity in it in some aspects, but they're all based in different locations at a different White Lotus hotel.
Okay, I didn't know that. Okay,
Yeah,
I,
that's what makes it pretty interesting.
happy Fourth, by the way.
Yeah, same. We're recording this on the morning of the 4th of July, so happy
Yeah,
4th to you as well. Hope you can
everybody.
take the day off.
What is it? I'm sorry.
I said I hope you can take the day off and enjoy some downtime.
Say.
Nice. All right. Well, I guess before we wrap this up, is there anything else you wanted to tell the audience, or any questions you wish I would have asked you?
I just want to say that I'm grateful and for everybody listening. And I know that right now, a lot of people may be scared. I know our country is kind of hectic right now, and just to love yourself and try to spread kindness and joy as much as you can, and just to try to do things that make you happy. I believe in doing whatever you want as long as you're not hurting yourself or other people, and just count your blessings, and everything will be okay if you put in the work and the energy. It's all gonna be okay. And getting off kratom is very doable. It can be hard, but you can do it. And
Yeah, that's a really good advice, and probably a good way to end it. Well, Seth, I really appreciate you coming on.
they
Before we hit record, Seth did say if his story resonates with you and you maybe have a or thinking about sublocade yourself, because that is a common thing we get inquiries about. Seth was more than happy to answer questions. So if you do have any and want to get in touch with them, feel free to reach out to us. And Seth, thank you again. I hope you have a wonderful rest of the day.
you too. Thank you so much. You have a wonderful day as well.